Hi there, and welcome to She Spice. YouTubers and virtual entertainment impact, Josh Ostrovsky has caused a serious ruckus, uncovering a few subtleties that have brought Diddy under a ton of fire. The substance maker as of late sat in a meeting and uncovered specific subtleties that, if genuine, could additionally scratch the generally dirty picture of the terrible kid diversion organizer. I strolled into a room I shouldn't have strolled into. I saw him as connecting with a fella, essentially like full spooning circumstances. What did Ostrovsky uncover, and how can it dovetail into the new allegation that Diddy is confronting? Josh Ostrovsky has joined the consistently developing rundown of Diddy's informers, who guarantee they have seen him take part in one act or the other since November last year. The Awful Kid Records pioneer has gone under extraordinary fire for attempting a few ladies and men. Some have even documented claims against the business tycoon, with the most recent being Rodney Jones Jr., who guaranteed that Diddy endeavored to compel himself on him. I think Elbar was attempting to conceal any hint of failure on specific things that he had, to some degree, a relationship with or that he was doing a few things with Diddy. The rapper has been blamed for laying down with any semblance of Usher, Clive Davis, and Compliant Planned. Anyway, he has denied this multitude of claims, bringing up that they were all illusions of individuals' minds. Yet the charges will not disappear, and they continue to pour in constantly. The most recent person to add his voice to this large number of allegations is Josh Ostrovsky. As per the model and powerhouse, he once staggered on Diddy cracking off with a man, which shook him deep down on a webcast with not tiny yet not fat host Amanda Hirsch Ostrovsky, who guaranteed that the episode brought about a few dangers to his life. By Diddy and his group, he fundamentally had individuals call me and compromise me and let me know if I didn't take it back and say I was kidding. You actually didn't take it back. No portraying the occurrence. Ostrovsky guaranteed that he dropped in on a party a couple of years ago and wound up gulping a few aphrodisiacs. The substances meddled with his head, and he wound up meandering into places that he wasn't approved of. This was the kind of thing I've been discussing for quite a long time, since it's presently something reported that I saw him at a party in Miami, some genuine dark greatness that I was not meriting to be at. I went with a DJ. I took Euphoria and wound up meandering around in some house on Star Island. I get it was his manner. He guaranteed that the chateau facilitating the gathering had a place with Diddy, and there were loads of men at the spot. He avoided calling it a gay party, as the substances would have wrecked his judgment anyway. He suggested that the party participants mixed up him to be gay, and continued to ask him inquiries. That way, it's all hot individuals of color, and afterward, only one with an afro. They're similar to whose man is this on one of his meandering binge, the 42 years. Old Powerhouse wound up in a room where he saw Diddy spooning with a man as indicated by the Powerhouse. He found out if that was the restroom, to which the tenants let him know that it was a space for folks to get down to their workdays. Went by after the party, and Ostrovsky ended up on a way back, where he recounted the story to the shock and disappointment of the web recording host and their audience members. Once Ostrov's news spread, a few sensationalist newspapers conveyed the story, driving Diddy's rep to contact the model. They asked him to either withdraw the story or guarantee that it was a joke. I strolled in a room I shouldn't have strolled into, and I saw him connecting with a man fundamentally. He went on about Diddy like full spooning circumstance, anything that I then recounted to the story on a digital recording. His kin called me and resembled you. We want to say you were kidding, say that you're an entertaining fellow and you made it up for the perspectives. No, yet I didn't. I saw it, and he saw me when I came in. Yes, I was somewhat terrified since everybody in the room halted. I opened then the entryway and resembled, is this the restroom? Everybody resembled, no, here. Male VIPs connect, and afterward, he essentially had individuals call me and undermine me. Ostrovsky didn't stop there. He likewise described when he got on a radio broadcast and rehashed a similar story. However, the radio broadcast wouldn't air it. I discussed it on Hot 97, and they wouldn't air it clearly. The radio broadcast had Ostrovsky pre-recorded, so they had some control over what he said. So when he talked about what he saw in Diddy's manner, the moderator ruled against playing it on air. Hot 97 consistently kept me on a pre-record cause they were like, are you going to say they could never allow me to do a live meeting? When he asked the moderator, EOD Darden, for what reason he wouldn't air the meeting, the moderator guaranteed that Diddy was insane and could return an objective. The moderator then, at that point, referred to an episode where Diddy purportedly exploded kid-sized vehicle after the artist dated his ex, Cassandra Ventura. I recounted the story, and afterward, a short time later, EO was like, I'm not going to run this interview since Diddy is crazy, like he exploded Kid Kai's vehicle. No, I would rather not get univ by Diddy, yet presently everybody just figured out that Kid Kui at long last recounted the story. I've been expressing this for a really long time. I've been discussing this Diddy's for quite a while, and presently it's out there. Ostrovsky guaranteed that Diddy was occupied with undermining individuals who recounted him. He referred to the many messages he's gotten from the rappers camp for uncovering him anyway. He didn't seem irritated, as his non-verbal communication recommended that the big shot had no control over him. Perhaps he knew the music maker couldn't snag him regardless of whether he attempted. A few fans became involved with a story and slammed Diddy all over web-based entertainment for professing to be what he's not. They made sense of that. They generally approved of where he swings simply because it is the 21st century, and he ought to let out the unadulterated truth. As of now, they have highlighted the pile of proof against him, from Usher to Lil Pole, saying that it is time he put this multitude of tales to sleep by being consistent with himself. Anyway, a couple of fans believed that Ostrovsky generally approved of where he swings simply because it is the 21st century, and he ought to let out the unadulterated truth. As of now, they have highlighted the pile of proof against him, from Usher to Lil Pole, saying that it is time he put this multitude of tales to sleep by being consistent with himself. Anyway, a couple of fans believe that Ostrovsky generally approved of where he swings simply because it is the 21st century, and he ought to let out the unadulterated truth. As of now, they have highlighted the pile of proof against him, from Usher to Lil Pole, saying that it is time he put this multitude of tales to sleep by being consistent with himself. Anyway, a couple of fans believed that Ostrovsky generally approved of where he swings simply because it is the 21st century, and he ought to let out the unadulterated truth. As of now, they have highlighted the pile of proof against him, from Usher to Lil Pole, saying that it is time he put this multitude of tales to sleep by being consistent with himself. Anyway, a couple of fans believed that Ostrovsky generally approved of where he swings simply because it is the 21st century, and he ought to let out the unadulterated truth. As of now, they have highlighted the pile of proof against him, from Usher to Lil Pole, saying that it is time he put this multitude of tales to sleep by being consistent with himself. Anyway, a couple of fans believed that Ostrovsky generally approved of where he swings simply because it is the 21st century, and he ought to let out the unadulterated truth. As of now, they have highlighted the pile of proof against him, from Usher to Lil Pole, saying that it is time he put this multitude of tales to sleep by being consistent with himself. Anyway, a couple of fans believe that Ostrovsky made up the narrative of Diddy spooning with another man, as per them. Ostrov's guarantee that he took bliss puts an immense opening in his declaration. They contended that the substances he gulped may have made him daydream, seeing things and exercises that were not there. They asserted that the rapper most likely thought he saw Diddy with another fella when all he could have seen were two fellows doing their thing in a room. The stalwart fans likewise showed that Ostrovsky, in his condition of fervor, might have confused a clone with Diddy, and since he was on aphrodisiacs, he was unable to have out the effect between the two men. Consequently, they supported different fans and pundits to take Ostrov's story with a spot of salt on the grounds that the declaration of a man high on substances can't be believed. In the meantime, others guarantee that aphrodisiacs don't screw up with the cerebrum, and in this way, the model truly saw what he checked, whether he had taken stimulants or hallucinogenics. Otherwise, aphrodisiacs just improve one's moxie and don't influence one's capacity to see reality. Consequently, Ostrov's story is substantial if, by some stroke of good luck, he has evidence of the messages that Diddy's men shipped off him as a danger. Strangely, this isn't whenever somebody first starts blaming Diddy after they uncover the supposed obscure dealings of the rodent tycoon. The primary individual to shout out about Diddy's statement was Wendy Williams, back when she was a radio personality at a similar Hot 97 in New York. At the time, Williams guaranteed she had an image of a man pulling down Diddy's shorts and stooping between his legs. The radio personality then, at that point, took steps to deliver the image to the general population as proof that this was a genuine story and not hot tattle off the talk factory anyway. She asserted that the head of Terrible Kid Diversion sent his young lady to the R&B, gathering all out to come show her something new, portraying the occurrence. Williams noticed that she was working one day when she saw the young ladies from Diddy's camp on the first floor, sitting tight for her to descend. Her work partners were likewise around, preparing to observe what they accepted was going to be a standoff. I got off the air one day, and they were all out. The honeybees were on the first floor, and everyone higher up at the radio broadcast was peering down, egging it on, trusting that something would go down anyway. William's sweetheart mediated, and the showdown was canceled. However, this wouldn't stop Williams. At last, Diddy had her terminated from the station, and she needed to move to Philadelphia. Strangely, Diddy's guardian at the time, Jean Bouquet, likewise validated Williams' story. The power comms had with the radio broadcasts in New York was that individuals didn't inhale hard if comms didn't need them to. Comms got one of the most smoking DJs off HOT 97 on the grounds that she needed to set up an image of him getting his pants pulled down bargain. Said Combs told Hot 97 in the event that they didn't dispose of her before he got back in New York, that they wouldn't get any music from any of his companions or any of the Record Marks leaders. That was fine with him. Everyone intended to blacklist their station. Wendy Williams was on the radio broadcast in Philadelphia. It was over for her. She was terminated. Wendy herself talked about her sack from Hot 97. When she plunked down in a meeting with DJ Vlad on his YouTube channel, the point was homophobia, and Hip Bounce and Williams were simply sharing her experience of what she endured when she really considered suggesting that during the 1990s there was a radio character sometime in the distant past. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was essentially scorched at the stake for it. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.